Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're starting a new series where I'm looking at different topics in arrangement. Today we're looking at dynamics and how to compose your music so that there are dynamics in different levels throughout the song, which gives it a story as people listen through. There's high bits, there's low bits, and that's what makes the song interesting and not just high energy all the time, or not just low energy all the time, but there's a mix of that. And I think that brings the listeners through a journey as they listen to your song. And if you're new to this channel, then I'm Mike. I'm a music producer, songwriter, and a guitarist. And if you like content like this, leave a comment below to let me know what you'd like me to cover in a future video. Right, let's jump in. We're gonna look at 2 songs from my album. I'll leave a link to them below so you can hear them. And we're just gonna look at how I'm working through the song using different levels of dynamics in each of the sections. Right, so here we are. This is The Gathering. Okay, so there's different parts of this song, right? There's verse, there's chorus, bridge. Bridge is where the song gets the heaviest, so we'll look at that, especially what I do there. And then we go back to the chorus. But if you notice, there's 3 different choruses. And how do you do 3 choruses without doing them the same? And then each chorus takes the song to a new level. That's kind of what we'll be exploring as well. And especially here where we have 2 verses back to back. Okay, so let's take a look at the intro. I like starting the intro strong and then bringing that down to a verse, just so there's that shift in gear from the introduction, which is always needs to be strong, or not strong, but always needs to be catching, because that's the first part. You want to catch the audience, and then we drop that down into a softer verse. Okay, so we have here.
People across the land is waking up, sleepers rise and stand, calling for your glory to flood the earth. Youth are rising up, shake the ground.
Okay, great. I love that. Okay, so we all start with all the instruments put together. There's 2 acoustics, the bass, 2 electrics, and then the piano. So everything is in, full band, except the percussions. That comes in later, and the drums. So everything is in. Once we get to the verse, there's a few things that drops out. But it doesn't feel like it's missing much. It just feels like there's less happening. So the acoustic guitar 2 drops out. Electric guitars 1 and 2 drops out. The only thing that's carrying on is this electric guitar part. Okay, so we have that, and bass and acoustics. You can almost not hear the acoustics, but it's there. And then some of the pads, right? The piano drops out, only the pads are still in. Okay. But then halfway through the verse, this is what I like to do. If the verse is quite long, you don't want it to be the same for too long. What I did was I started bringing the instruments back with just single attacks, single strums, with the acoustics, with the chords. And that feels like, okay, halfway through the verse, there's something else happening that's leading into a larger section. So at this point,
calling for your glory to flood the earth. Youth are rising.
right, so the acoustics, the electrics are playing. The drums remain the same. So there's no change in the drums, but it's okay because there's other things coming in. Which is already lifting up that dynamic. But the drums do come back in with kick and snare in verse 2, as well as a tambourine.
The gathering of the army is lifting up. Passing on the fire from heart to heart. lighting up the beacons of victory. You bring the wave of changes.
Okay, perfect. So verse 2 maintains its energy quite well just throughout the whole thing, and then it starts to build the last measure before going into the chorus. So this is another arranging thing that we do in terms of dynamics, is we don't just shift dynamics right away. We have a small movement that brings the dynamic up. So from, let's say, level 2 to go to level 4, there's that slope that brings it up. It doesn't just happen right away. And so that would be this moment. That's it. Just the drums fill in, the instruments all... I think we go to 16th notes and bring that up into the chorus. Now, notice in the chorus, we didn't go big in the chorus because there's 3 choruses. We don't want to go big right away, so we're saving some of that energy for later. We're going to go level 1 of the chorus, right? So there's no groove yet. The drums are still playing like its rhythm, I think, with the toms. Nothing's released yet in terms of the instruments.
Bring the wave of changes when we cry out to you.
Okay. But what we did do is we've got vocals. So harmonies comes in the chorus. That helps lift up that excitement in the chorus just a tiny bit as well. So we have added BVs. So this has to do with vocal arrangements. In that part, and then the acoustics are going, the electrics are going, and then we go on, we bring it back down from the end of the chorus to the verse with a little bit of instrumental at this point.
Your kingdom to come and be founded on the earth. The gathering the army against the dark.
Okay, now, verse 2. This is where it gets interesting. We're back to verse again. This is just verse 2, repeated. But we're not going to do it exactly the same way. I'm changing it to a little bit more rhythmic with the electric guitar, with different things. So it feels like, okay, we're back, but we're not back at the same place. Alright, so let's listen to that. And then obviously at the end we'll build again into the chorus.
Gathering the army against the dark. It's lifting up the torches to light the spark. Passing on the fire from heart to heart. Lighting up the beacons of victory. You bring away the changes.
Okay, so I hope you can hear that. The acoustics, the electrics, they're all and the piano. There's musical hits and stops that creates something new that we haven't heard yet. So the arrangements is different. And then there's the part with the electric guitar playing that adds more rhythm. It's just more fun as well. Because I knew that we're going to come back down from the chorus slightly in terms of dynamics down. So this needs to be, it needs to hold its own in terms of interest. Okay, then we're into the chorus. Again, the groove is still toms because we're about to go into a large bridge and then a final chorus. So chorus 2 still isn't that big open groove just yet. And we have, again, the BVs. So there's nothing really there that's different. Of course, it plays its purpose. We're singing the chorus again. The chorus is always an important part of the song. But let's move on here into what we do in the bridge. Now, there's 2 bridge that will be happening, and it's always different. Especially the first half of the first bridge. Instruments are doing something new every time, I think, 2 measures. And then we go into a big open bridge, and then the final chorus.
Lift a shout of praise and shine for the Lord. Set your light ablaze and shine for the Lamb. Lift a shout of praise and shine for the Lord. Let your kingdom come and shine from our hearts. Lift a shout of praise and shine for the Lord. Set your light ablaze and shine for the Lamb. For the Lord. Let your kingdom come and shine from our heart.
Okay, so much is happening here, and it's just going from really soft to really big. All right, one thing right away that I like to point out is vocal harmonies, arranging that to lift that feel. So the first half of the bridge, nothing, and then it's three of the same thing. So these are all the same harmonies, panned left, right, center. And then after that we go 2-part harmonies, the last phrase 3-part harmony, and then the final phrase 4-part harmony. So the entire bridge of the second round is a 4-part harmony, and that alone brings in that dynamic. Alongside doubled vocals, so bridge 2, there's the main vocal, and then there's vocals doubled twice, left and right as well. So vocally it's the strongest part. We also have, this is what I love to do, and you'll see this in my music a lot, is I like to throw in electric guitar leads with the melody towards the end. I just love that. I think it really lifts the environment, and we'll see this in the next song as well, where I do this at the end. I think I do. And then obviously there's 2-part, 3-part harmony as well.
Lift a shout of praise and shout. Let your kingdom come and shine from our heart.
I also added in the third acoustic, which is going to be really high acoustic, both of these. This is the same recording, just microphone and DI. So you can hear that, just a very high arrangement. And it's just all these things put together. There's shaker that adds in. There is, well, the drum does its own thing. There's extra acoustic, there's extra electric, there's extra melody, and then there's extra harmonies. All of these arrangements helps bring that dynamic up. And it all does one thing, which is it creates just another level from what was to where you want it to be. So I would say bridge all the way through to the end of the chorus is the largest section. The whole song builds up to that. And so it's not just a song that's fast all the way through or slow all the way through, but there needs to be ups and downs. All right, so let's listen to the chorus all the way through.
You bring the wave of changes when we cry out to you. Kingdom to come and be founded on the
earth. Great. I think this is a perfect example of creating a journey in the arrangements. Cool. I hope that gives you an idea. I think that works well. And you can be creative. You just play around with what you hear in your head, and you make it work. All right, let's jump on to the next song and take a look at that. Here we are. This is Saved by Grace. This is one of my favorite from the album. And you can listen to it again down below. Alright, so again, this is a slower song. It's 71 BPM. So let's take a look. We start out really slow, and then we go into a large chorus. And let's just see how we did that. Okay, yeah, the first few measures just has a lot going on already. Not too much, not too fast, just a tiny bit. And then we, again, bring that back down for the verse, just to be a little bit lower in energy. And then we build that up to the chorus. Again, this song has 3 choruses, so I need to think about how I can arrange each one of them so that they're not the same, and then that they have different levels as the song progresses. Okay, this is great. The drums, just hi-hat, just giving that beat, and the shaker comes in. Everything else is more or less the same. Now, this shaker, I think, is the thing that distincts it from the section before, because it's a new instrument that we didn't hear before. And I actually got this idea from the Beatles in the song Hey Jude, where there's one section where the only difference was the tambourine came in, and it's like, oh, okay, that small change is a clear shift between the section before. So it's kind of that idea of just having a small, the change doesn't need to be big. So the small change, that just differentiates you from the section before. Okay. Okay, great. So out of that instrumental goes into the verse where the groove of the song comes in. So the drums come in with its kick and snare, and then 2 electric guitar comes in. Not too driven, lightly driven, and just left and right, just getting that chord. So very small change again, but okay, now the full band is in. All right, so let's see how we build into the chorus. Okay, big chorus, and then we drop into a soft verse, because we're going to the verse for the 3rd time. We don't want it to be the same, so everything is out. Let's listen to that, and then we build into our chorus. The veil of sin was you give your only, then this joy we see. Wonderful. Okay, so one more time, that same technique that we mentioned before, just having that connection between a softer section to a large. We don't go right away, but there's that gradual descent, and that would just be this final tag here at the end of the verse, where the drums comes in and starts to build, and then everything else comes in. We're into another chorus, but still with toms. Okay, still with toms. So let's hear that, and then we're gonna do a final chorus here as well. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Okay, this is the final chorus. Again, we have this electric guitar that we did in the song before, where it's playing the melody, it's just happening at the very end, which I love to do, and it just brings up that level a tiny bit more, without just overcomplicating your arrangements. It's just playing the melody, and then there's some interesting stuff happening here at the end as well. Let's take a look at what I did here, which I think this would be the peak of the performance. Well, I say performance, but just in the music, where there are some of these vocal things happening. And that goes along with all the hits from the instruments, with drums, with the guitar, and some of these things as well with the electric. Yeah, some of that, which is nice. Here, let's listen to it with the rest of this as well. Yeah, very nice. Just a little fun. Okay, let's take it all the way through to the end. After the end of, we had 2 tags, we go down to a soft outro and just end. We don't need to end too big. All right, cool. So that's at the end. So one more time, just to go through the song. There's 3 choruses. There's 3 verses. We use them differently. We arrange them differently. So there's this flow. I think that's a great way to make your music just sound interesting. And it's not all the same. It's not all redundant. And the listener feels like they are on this journey of this change happening all the time. And we just gotta be clever with that and just think creatively with what we can bring in, which instruments comes in, which instruments go out, to create that wave of dynamics. So once again, these songs came out of the album, my worship album, Beyond Beautiful. I'll leave a link to that or on the screen so you can listen to that, again, in the context of the song. And I'll be going through more of those songs in this series of arrangements, just so I can also break down what I've done and share with you how I created each of those songs. Alright guys, I hope that's been helpful. I hope you can take that and use that in your own arrangements. Leave a comment below if you have any questions about any of that and I'll try to get to it. and let me know what you'd like to see me cover in future videos in terms of arrangements. And if you like videos like this, you might want to check out more here, and I'll see you next time.
Lift a shout of praise and shine for the Lord. Set your light ablaze and shine.